Hello everyone, this is Waldorf.
And this is Statler.
And today we're looking at the changes to the Arcane Compendium.
Well, it's not really changes to the Arcane Compendium.
It is the Arcane
It is the new Arcane Compendium.
It is brand new.
Yes.
Because the first change is I didn't write this here, is the Arcane Compendium itself.
Right, so before we had the main rules with the magic items in the rule book, the common ones, and then we had the separate spells in their own magic lists. So now they've combined the magic items, all magic stuff, the magic items and the spells into the Arcane Compendium. And then the base rules are the base rules, and I guess that way they can stick to their decision not to change the rules but still tweak the
magic item points.
Sorry,
special
item points. Yes, there you go.
Correct.
Because I think we'll see that every year, a little tweaking the points here and there.
Yeah, I think you'll see items that, we've seen items that are being tweaked every single phase.
Yeah. Although from everything I'm seeing so far, this change in general seems to be very few changes.
To the rules themselves.
To the rules, to even when I've been looking on the sneak peeks on the army books.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Mostly about points changes. So it looks like very few changes to the actual army books.
Okay. The other general item, they did language cleanup all through it.
Yes, as it did with the rules.
Mm-hmm. And then one of your favorites.
Yes, they've added some cheat sheets to the summary. They still have to do a little bit of work on this, I think, but not the right one up there. Not that one.
That's that one. How about that one?
There we go. So this one, I think this is fantastic. It's basically all but one of the paths of magic.
That is true.
Yeah.
Alchemy got pushed to the front.
But having this, so instead of having printing out all the card decks in front of you, so when you're playing your opponent having to find stuff, if you're not somebody who plays all the time and knows all the spells,
right, you
can just print out this one sheet and then you have your own cards for your own, but then you just have this to look at everything else. If you're in a tournament, whatever, what you can do is you could actually take the alchemy part and just cut and paste or tape it for us old timers on top of whatever path you're using.
I actually plan on carrying this. I plan on carrying this and the one behind it as a front and back in a sheet protector thing.
Yeah, you can do it as a magic system thing.
And then if I'm playing somebody, I can just, with the dry erase pen or whatever, just dot the spells they have.
Right.
And then just have an easy reference to the spells they have.
Yep. No, I think it's...
Because I'm one of these, despite the number of games I've played, I can't keep track of what all the spells do.
No, there's so much, and they tweaked them along the way. And then you also see, you have a meta in your own game club that people take certain paths and certain armies. So, you don't see other combinations until you go to tournaments.
Mm-hmm. So but this was a very nice change.
Yeah, I really like
a very nice
addition.
Not a change, a very nice addition.
Yeah, no, I like this a lot.
All right. So let's see if I can get back to this where I belong. There we go.
Okay.
So that was that. So moving on. The spell changes. Cosmology, the Ice and Fire, both versions have magic attacks. Simple. Divination took a little bit of a hit. Unerring Strike, the boosted version, no longer does 3d6. It's been changed to 2d6 with maximized.
Right.
So the maximum it can do now is 12 instead of 18.
Right, but you have it's not as variable.
Right. The Portent of Doom, which of course is a buff to them, gives a negative combat modifier to a unit permanently.
Yeah.
To me, that's very big.
Anything permanent's big.
Yeah. Evocation, Ancestral Aid. They're saying this is, anyway, the Portent of Doom may affect cowboys fairly significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Evocation, the Ancestral Aid dropped a point, and lost the boosted version, no longer working for shooting attacks. That will affect the Undying Dynasties, Beaushapti armies.
Yes.
Whispers of the Veil went up a point. No longer reduces the offensive and defensive skill, but reduces resilience by,
which I think is very good.
Better than offensive defensive skill. Hasten the Hour, just rewording, replaced missile with direct.
Yep.
Touch of the Reaper went up, but gained a little bit of range on the unboosted version.
Yep.
Missile and Focused now replaced with Direct.
Yeah, I think
Base.
I like the changes to Evocation. I was never a particular fan of the Path. I think they've made it better.
Right. Occultism, they made a huge, well, to me, I thought it was a huge change. You lose health points based on your discipline value without modifiers instead of the number of ranks.
Right.
So now if you're killing zombies who are discipline 2, you're killing a bunch of them.
Right.
If you're killing dark elves, dread elves.
Dread elves.
You may only be killing 1.
Right.
It's just, it kind of helps balance that for the armies.
Well, it helps. Yeah.
That didn't want to use occultism because the units were too valuable.
Correct.
To
Especially if you had like a lot of mounted guys, it's like, oh, I don't want to give up that expensive Dread Knight, So
Right.
yeah.
Correct.
So yeah, no, I think that's a big change. It makes it so you actually want to use it, because before I don't think you wanted to use the boost very much with elite armies.
Correct. Hand of Glory, Rot Within both went down a point.
And casting, yeah.
Marked for Doom. Actually, the range went up.
Which I think is a big deal.
Flaming Swords had a slight...
Occultism is another one. I never liked occultism before because I thought the attribute was not worth taking for a lot of armies, and some of the casting values were high, but I think they fixed both of those things.
Correct. Flaming Swords got rewritten to clarify, how that works.
Yeah, still really good.
Still very good. Trial of Faith, the base version, went up to 24-inch. And Focused and Missile replaced with Direct.
Right.
Just, again. Witchcraft took a couple changes. Sorry, not hits.
Not necessarily hits.
I think they were all these were positive changes to Witchcraft. I said that just the opposite.
Yeah.
Deceptive Glamour went down by a point.
Yep.
Twisted Effigy went down by a point, both in the normal and the boosted.
Yep.
Wheel Turns works like it did before. It's just reworded.
Yeah.
And the Bewitching...
I was actually confused when I read it the first. I thought it only went one way. And then,
okay. The Bewitching Glare, they got rid of that travesty that was a Bewitching Glare spell in the last edition.
High casting value that didn't do much.
Correct. It did less than other spells that had less casting value in the same path. Anyway, it now is a combat buff that gives battle focus. Cast on a 7, any unit attacking that, any attacks against that unit gain battle focus.
Yeah, it's now an offensive spell.
It's an offensive combat buff.
Whereas before it was kind of a defense. It was better as a defensive one. If you had tough guys, you didn't want to get poisoned off or whatever. So.
And if you cast it on the boosted version, you gain battle focus from your shooting attacks against that unit, which is an interesting concept.
Yeah, especially if you have heavy firepower shooting.
Yeah. Just interesting. I don't know how this is going to...
Thank God nobody has a volley gun with this.
Well, it adds 1 hit.
Yeah.
That's what the result was. When it first came out, people were asking, well, I roll to hit with my catapult. So if I roll a 6 to hit with my catapult, am I hitting twice? Do I get 2 4x4 patterns? And the answer was no, you get 1.
But that's with a pattern. I'm talking about ballistic shooting. It's not just 1 hit. It's for every hit, correct?
Correct, but ballistic shooting, who's got any decent ballistic shooting?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think anybody that has an organ gun or a volley gun has witchcraft, thank God.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
Well, no, it's still the same thing. It's if you hit 15 hits with a volley gun, it would become 16. It's not that big of a deal. I'm sorry, you're right. For every 6 they roll.
Every 6 they roll, yeah.
Got it. Understood.
But the point's moot because the Dwarven Holes don't have it.
Well, interestingly enough... the Vermin Swarm have it for their rattling guns, for their rotary guns.
Yeah, that's true.
They're only strength 4, but it's kind of ugly.
They're already pretty ugly. There is that.
6s. It all depends on 6s.
Yeah. So I mean, for those types of things. But normally...
On average, you're not talking about adding that many hits.
Yeah, Dread Elves is, maybe you have a lot of 3s coming at you, so,
Well, I like battle focus. I just don't think it's great. It's not something... If somebody casts this on a unit, especially if they're planning on using it for shooting, they want to cast it boosted on my unit.
Yeah, you're going to let it go.
I'm going to let it go.
Frankly, quite often you're going to let it go for melee at that casting value.
Yeah, well, it depends.
Because now they've dropped the casting value of all the witchcraft spells, so
Right.
They've actually, it's possible you can get an extra spell off.
It is.
You were probably focused on 2 before. Now you're pretty safe going for 3.
Going for 3. And
Yeah.
even this one, if you're casting it on the combat, it's only a 7.
Right.
So
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like, do I get Twisted Effigy? Do I, that's the
Right.
real turns. No, I'll let the battle focus go through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good point. Anyway, that's the changes. That's it.
Yep, pretty to the
Those are spells.
spells.
That's true. We got to move on, don't we?
Yes, we do. To the next
Because
section.
we now added special items to the
Right,
to the
which is now-
Arcane Compendium or whatever.
Exactly.
Hero's Heart.
I think they should not call it Arcane Compendium. They should call it the Necronomicon.
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 Not all about necromancy.
They should have like a face on it.
They're not publishing books.
the
All right. Hero's Heart, once again,
Hail to the
takes
king,
another
baby.
hit. Now it's up to 60. That one's climbing almost every
yeah, because it's
thing because
so
it's
good.
in every list.
Yes.
Shieldbreaker went down by 10. I've never seen this
Well,
taken.
I'm curious on Heroes Heart, just backing up, is it was always compared to, because a number of armies have their own sword update, which competes with Heroes Heart, but often Heroes Heart always seemed to be a better option because of the 5
Correct.
points cheaper, or what you got for it. So we'll see if they've adjusted any of those to make those more
Oh,
interesting.
okay, good point.
Yeah,
Shieldbreaker went down by 10. Like I said, never seen anybody take it. So,
yeah,
Touch of Greatness, another item I see everywhere.
yeah.
Went up by 5. Supernatural Dexterity, I've seen quite a bit lately, and it's going down. So that was interesting. The Death Cheater Armor that gives you the 4-up Fortitude save
Yeah.
went up by 5.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It was there at one point anyway.
Yeah, I think it did go
Long
down.
ago, yeah, it went down, then it went back up.
Banner of the Relentless Company went up by 5. Again, an item I see a lot.
Yeah,
And it seems to be they're carrying through with that. If you see something everywhere,
yep.
it must be a little low.
Or other things are a little bad, like Ether Icon, which you don't see,
Yeah.
which I like because it's a +1, not just a 6.
For 10 points cheaper now.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think you might see that more often. It's easier to fit in.
right.
And your favorite item, the Crown of the Wizard King, went down by 5.
Yes, baby.
But you no longer gain the right to take
Yeah.
wizard-only items.
Yes, you can't get a wizard only on it, but it's okay.
I think this is a good change. It was not good to be able to get. Anyway, I thought it was a little good for what it was. Rot of Battle went down by 10. Crystal Ball surprisingly went down by 10.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a lot of them though.
I
Have
think I've stopped.
Would you
I
say
stopped
changed it?
using it
Yeah.
because I've seen in the games I've been playing, I've seen more of a move towards multiple casters,
Right.
rather than one big one.
Yeah.
I haven't made that move myself, but I've seen other players doing that.
Right. Right.
Therefore, making the crystal ball not quite as
Right.
useful as it used to be. So, Magical Heirloom went up by 5, and they clarified that you cannot use this to take the hereditary spell twice. Another of your favorites,
Potion of Strength.
down by 10 points.
10 points.
10 points for a crush attack.
It'll be in every army now.
I think you're going to see this a lot.
All my army lists will have it.
I think you're going to see this a lot.
No mage will leave home without it.
Especially if you have access to a reroll to hit it somewhere. Anyway, or a +1 to hit if you're an elf. An
Yep.
elf mage with martial prowess or whatever, it gets +1 to hit you.
I actually think elves are. It's a good item for elves because they're often hitting on 2s.
Right.
Even frankly, even for regular guys, because it's inexpensive and you want to get rid of a monster, it's probably the best way.
It
You know?
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they had back the old thing where you could put a magic item, a cheap magic item on a champion.
Oh yeah. That would be an auto take then. Yeah.
Yeah. The Obsidian Rock went down by 15. It's a big chunk.
Obsidian Rock is
2 up.
2 magic resistance,
Correct.
right? Yeah, that's nice.
And the Scepter of Power didn't get a point change, but it's no longer a dominant item.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
That's the one that lets you just burn a die.
Right.
The only problem is it's a one-use.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it myself, but
I'm not a fan. If it gave you the die,
yeah,
then it would be a good item. the fact that you have to already have the die, I'm just not thrilled with it. Anyway.
So yeah, so hardly any changes, mostly points tweaks here and there.
Yep. Yeah, as a matter of fact, what really...
A lot of reductions, which is interesting because it will potentially open up some builds that we didn't have access to before. I mean, how many times, I don't know, I've put a character together and that's like, oh shoot, I'm 5 points over.
Right.
You know, I just can't get the combinations I want.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna cost me 5 points on my main character, on my general, on my current army with the hero's heart. But
oh, you may have to switch to the Mace of Tristan.
Tristan's mace or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you use that on paired weapons?
I
Anyway.
think so.
I'll have to
I have
figure
to
that out.
check. Yeah.
All right. Oh well. But that's it. Again, let us know what you think, or if we missed something.
There you go.
But other than that, thanks for listening.
Till next time.